Marston's Domain.
Hey everyone, Marston here, and today I want to talk about what King K. Rool being in Smash Bros. Actually means to me. Because I know that King K. Rool means a lot to a lot of people, but I wanted to give my reasons as to why it's such a big deal to me, because a lot of you know that I'm very obsessed with King K. Rool, so I just kind of want to give my story. So it's a little bit of a different type of video, so it might be a little bit boring, but for me, King K. Rool getting into Smash Bros. Means so much, because when I was 2, I started playing Super Nintendo. It was actually a gift for my sister, who was a little bit older than me, and I used to just sit there and just watch her play. And my sister would always say, "Do you want to play?" And I'd always say, "Nope, I just want to watch." And the interesting thing about my sister getting the Super Nintendo is that when my mom went to go buy it, apparently there were 2 boxed versions of Super Nintendo out at that time. They had the Mario bundle, and they had the Donkey Kong bundle. And the reason why I know all this is because I talked to my mom about it recently, and she said that she chose the Donkey Kong one because she remembered playing it as a kid, the original Donkey Kong, the arcade game. So her memories of Donkey Kong got her to purchase the Donkey Kong bundle for Super Nintendo. So when I eventually started to not want to just watch and actually play, I got completely sucked in, and I started to get better than my sister at it. And all I would play was Donkey Kong Country. And as I was growing up, I got into Donkey Kong Country 2 and Donkey Kong Country 3, and as all this was going on, I would actually play with my mom, because they had the competitive mode, where one person would go, and then once you either beat a level or died, the other person could play. Which I still, to this day, think that that mode is better than what they do now, where they have it that people play at the same time. I really don't prefer that. I prefer the one person goes, then the other person goes, but that's a topic for another day. So as I was growing up, I would play that, like I said, all the time, and with my mom, and it's just a really good memory that I have, and it's something that I'll really never forget. And as I got older, obviously the games changed and the consoles changed, so when Nintendo 64 came out and Donkey Kong 64 came out, I got wrapped into that as well, which I remember really enjoying that game as a kid. But I tried playing it a couple years ago, and whew, that game is very frustrating. But my memories of the game are memories of enjoying it. But I'm sure I must have got mad at some of those mini games trying to get all the bananas. And my mom was always happy to see me beat those games. She always enjoyed seeing that. So all my early memories revolved around games that had King K. Rool in it. And I'm not sure if at that time I was completely obsessed with King K. Rool. I was just obsessed with Donkey Kong Country in general. I always loved Dixie Kong, out of all the Kongs. But I'm not sure if I was fully into, wow, I love King K. Rool. I don't think I had that obsession yet. But as I got older, and the characters that I got into, I started to think about when I played Melee, because I'm pretty sure at that time I played Bowser a good amount. And in Brawl, I played Bowser a lot. Smash 4, I played Bowser a lot. And what's funny is that a lot of Bowser mains have been talking about how they're switching to King K. Rool, and I started to think about it, and I think that I kind of just accepted that King K. Rool was always just here to stay, and I never really thought of it as being obsessed with him. He was just a character that I really liked. But him not appearing in any games for so long, I started to really notice, I was like, well, where's King K. Rool? I don't get this. And then that's when it started to hit me of, wow, I really love this character, because it genuinely bothered me that he was in nothing. The games literally weren't the same. I think that's what it was. I didn't realize the impact that character had, because to me it was just like Bowser. Bowser's just in all the Mario games, so I love Bowser, but I don't think of it as like, I'm obsessed with this character, I need this character. If he wasn't in Smash, I'd be very upset. But I think him not being in the games was what really got me to go, yikes. Nothing is the same without him. It's kind of like you don't know what you have until it's gone. I think that's what kind of happened. So it got the obsession to build more and more, because every time more things came out, I kept saying to myself, where's King K. Rool? I want King K. Rool really bad. And then Donkey Kong Country Returns came out, no King K. Rool. And then Tropical Freeze came out, no King K. Rool. King K. Rool was in Super Mario Sluggers and other random spin-off type games, but we all know that's not the same as him being in Donkey Kong Country. The fact that Donkey Kong Country came out without King K. Rool is insane to me. I understand that it was made by a different company, and I'm sure they just want to do their own thing, but think about if someone else handled Mario and they just totally scrapped Bowser and all of his minions. That's what happened to King K. Rool, because not only did they not have him, but all of his minions were gone too. So at that point, it didn't even really feel like the same game. Tropical Freeze is an amazing game. I really don't care too much for Returns, but Tropical Freeze was amazing. In terms of movement and just how the game played, the enemy design was at least better than Returns, but it still is not the same. And I know that pretty much every other fan would agree with that. It's not the same. And to put it in perspective for people that aren't obsessed with King K. Rool, think about your favorite game and think about your favorite characters in that game and remove a good chunk of the characters that you play and then remove every single enemy that you're used to. So with Donkey Kong, in Returns, they only had Donkey Kong and Diddy, so there was no Dixie Kong, there was no Cranky Kong, and there was only one animal buddy, which was Rambi. And Rambi is the only animal buddy in Tropical Freeze, when before there was a ton of them, and each game introduced new ones. And actually, each Donkey Kong country introduced new Kongs to play as. So the best way to describe it is to take Mario, remove Koopas, Goombas, Bowser, remove all of them, and you just play as Mario in this totally different world. Which, you know, if it was some type of spin-off, sure. I mean, look at Mario and Rabbids. That's cool. But imagine if you got that game, and then they were like, no, this is what it is from now on. It'd be like, well, I don't want that. So for me, it just made my obsession build even more and more, because I kept playing those games and being like, they're not the same. And then when it came to Smash Bros, once that Smash ballot came out, it was like, no, this is the time for King K. Rool to make it in. If he doesn't make it in now, he's not going to get in. And that's where it's very clear they use that Smash ballot for Smash Ultimate, because it's basically Smash Bros, the fan service game. Because we have a lot of characters in there so far that have been highly requested. So when I saw King K. Rool in this game, even right now, I still can't believe it. When me and Doughboy were chatting, when I was getting ready to make that in-depth analysis video on King K. Rool, when we finished talking, I literally said, I can't believe we were just able to do this. I can't believe he really is in the game. And whenever I think about it or talk about it, I'm still in disbelief. I've watched that trailer so many times, and it means so much to me because it brings me back to when I was a kid, and it just makes me think of then to now, and what those games meant to me then, and what King K. Rool himself means to me now, as I grew up. So for me, this isn't just a random character reveal that it's like, yeah, I'm excited. This character means a lot to me, and I know he does for a lot of other people too. I don't think it's going to actually settle in that he's in the game until I'm playing the game December 7th, because I'm seriously still in disbelief, and I could not be happier that he's actually in the game. So that's all I really have to say about this. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. I just figured I'd give my story on why King K. Rool means so much to me. So let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.